he was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be continuing my Scream series with a review of Scream 3. When the millennium hit, Scream became a trilogy with Sidney Prescott stalked by the Ghostface killer yet again. Now, Scream 3 gets a lot of flack from fans of Scream, but if nothing else, it gave us an amazing soundtrack produced by Creed with the iconic song, What If? I freaking love that song. When I was growing up, right, when I was a kid, no one around me was a horror fan. I was kind of the only kid that watched horror movies, and no one around me was ever really as into movies as me. Even to this day, I don't really know any movie buffs in real life outside of my mother. There was no internet when I was growing up. The majority of my life, I just kind of had no clue how just regular movie fans were receiving movies. Now, I did always, keep up with critics, but it was always just a huge disconnect between critic opinions. Now, within, the last years of the internet, I was very surprised at how much Scream fans do not like Scream 3. I actually have always really enjoyed Scream 3. At the time that Scream 3 came out, I remember me and my mom having a conversation about how Scream was one of the few horror franchises that hadn't made a bad movie. Now, is Scream 3 on the level of the first two? No, of course not. I completely get the criticism of Scream 3, but I honestly just do not get the hate. Scream 3 is the weakest among the Scream trilogy, but it is not a bad movie by a freaking long shot. I mean, the worst thing about Scream 3 are Gail's bangs. Like, really, that's like the worst part of the movie. Scream 3 is like Terminator 3 for me. Weakest of the trilogy, not the quality of the previous films, but still entertaining movies. But I will say, Scream 3 has aged much better than T3. I actually used to really enjoy Terminator 3. Like, I liked that movie. But now I can't even stomach it. Like, I tried to watch it, I feel like a few years ago. That movie has aged so badly. I still, though, really love Scream 3. I watch it frequently, and not even in the order of Scream. Like, I will just randomly watch Scream 3. This movie really is a gem, in my opinion. I mean, yo, it's fun. It's entertaining. There isn't a dull moment. And in my humble opinion, the best red herring out of all the Scream movies is Patrick Dempsey. Well, mine is Scream 6. I haven't seen that yet. I love where we find Sidney, and the evolution of her character really continues. And Neve Campbell literally just got better and better with each Scream movie. Just the character of Sidney. Sidney is at her most badass in this movie for me personally. Now, Scream 3 opens with Cotton Weary in his car. He has his own show. He finally has that 5 minutes of fame that Gail kept promising him and that he wanted so freaking badly. Cotton gets a phone call that is a supposed wrong number, right? And it's a woman who turns out is just so happens to be a fan of Cotton Weary. Wrong. One aspect of Scream 3 that I really enjoy is the fact that not only can Ghostface continue to distort his voice, but now he is able to mimic anyone's voice. Great idea. Ghostface is at Cotton's home and he attacks his girlfriend pretending to be Cotton Weary, using Cotton's voice right now. As much as I enjoy this opening sequence, and I do thoroughly enjoy it, it isn't better than the opening sequence in the first two movies. But I kind of feel like it's not a comparison. I kind of just take Scream 3 as its own film. But I also feel like for a movie that is trying to kind of up the ante, so to speak, the death of Cotton Weary wasn't some grand thing, in my humble opinion. Cotton wasn't a fan favorite character for me. I enjoy Cotton, definitely, but he wasn't a major or key figure for me where his death warranted showing the audience that there are no real stakes. I didn't get that. The first time we really even get Cotton is in Scream 2. So I actually feel like it was kind of premature to kill him first in this one. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but Cotton's death just doesn't have the intended impact. Also, Ghostface targets Cotton for Sydney's location, right? Which is so nonsensical to me. Why not go after Dewey or even Gail? If I want Sydney's location, the first person I'm targeting is Dewey. I don't know, that just seems much more logical to me. I feel like you would target Dewey or Sid's dad, but of course Sydney's dad is never really a real part of the story, so target Dewey. Now, with Scream 3, they bring the movie within a movie with Stab to the forefront. We are in Hollywood. We are on the Stab movie set, and Ghostface is targeting the actors of Stab 3, right? We have these B-movie actors playing our Woodsboro characters, and they are terrible. But for me, they are terrible in a so bad it's good kind of way. I mean, they are supposed to be second-rate, mediocre type characters / actors. B-movie Sid, for me, was the worst. I love when we get I didn't F that pig Milton to die here with you. Like, love that. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that actress. Excuse me. I just couldn't vibe with her. I get the complaints and critiques when it comes to these characters when folks talk about Scream 3, but it's actually why I like them. And hey, maybe it's because I like B-movie, cheesy, mediocre. I will say it doesn't fit the Scream universe. Scream 3 is a little out of place there, but I find all the characters really fun and enjoyable. The biggest gripe for me is Tyson. Kind of the same complaints I had in Scream 2 regarding black characters in the Scream universe. At this point, the black characters are never a real part of the story. Tyson is the worst, though. A pretty stereotypical token black character whose only role is to be comedic relief, but it is a little cringy. I mean, even when he is about to be freaking murdered, he's like, "Oh, you motherfucker." Come on now, child. The Scream universe leans so heavy into black stereotypes. Now, as much as I enjoy these characters, because I still can enjoy Tyson. Like, I enjoy everything they put together as a whole. But as much as I do enjoy these characters, I don't care about any of these characters, not in the slightest. And while that is usually a gripe I have with slashers, I really hate not caring about characters and having their deaths have no real impact. Of course, in those situations, there are no real stakes, right? There's no real tension because you don't even care. However, they are so entertaining and the stakes feel real for our main crew that it doesn't ruin the film for me, and it's not a gripe in this case for me how it normally would be. The dynamic of Gail and Bargain Brand Gail was so good in my opinion. I really like Parker Posey here and B-movie Gail together. You're obsessed with her and you're obsessed with her daughter. Like, it's freaking enjoyable. I don't know why people hate this movie so much. I don't get it. I also enjoy our detectives, but the MVP character for me here, of the new characters that we are introduced to, is Patrick Dempsey as Detective Kincaid. Truly the most interesting character here. I love how Patrick Dempsey played this, and I really feel like Detective Kincaid was the best red herring in the entire Scream franchise. well, as I said before, so far, I haven't seen Scream 6, but at this point, and including Scream 5, just all throughout the Scream universe before Scream 6, I really feel like he is the best red herring. I remember watching this movie for the first time and trying to guess the killer right, and I kept going back and forth on Kincaid. I was like, it's him. Nah, it ain't him. No, it's him. Wait, no, it's not him. It's him. It's not. It was really fun the way they kept playing into that mystery regarding Kincaid, but really, Kincaid and his partner are a welcome addition. He was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed. As always, I enjoyed Dewey here, and I enjoyed them trying to make Dewey kind of more a hero, more kind of taken seriously. However, that same dumb Dipsy Dewey is here as always, and that's a big annoyance for me though. I love Dewey. He was always a fan favorite for me. I said in my Scream video that Dewey I don't know what it is with David Arquette as Dewey. I just really loved him, but I really hate how extremely unserious his character is. I hate how they just always portray him as this big dope. I mean, how are you a cop and don't have the good damn sense to say, hey, I shot this man with like 50 bullets to no avail. Why in the world does Sidney have to say Dewey the head? Because, Ghostface is wearing a bulletproof vest. Oh, and Ghostface just so happening to be wearing a freaking bulletproof vest irked my nerves. That irked me so bad. But, I get they was trying to make it where he was like this mastermind. But I hate how useless Dewey, like when you think about it, Dewey really is just really useless. And speaking of characters, we get a posthumous return from Randy. I do feel like it was a mistake to kill Randy off in Scream 2. We could have had him pop back up to the life like Dewey. I thoroughly enjoy seeing him here though. Now, there are some real just idiotic things that occur in this movie. When Sarah is targeted by Ghostface, she calls the studio instead of 911. Also, when Putty gets killed, when we are all at Parker Posey's house, everybody got cell phones, but nobody calls 911. When we are at Milton's mansion, again, everybody got cell phones, but nobody calls 911. We are in a life or death situation, right? The bodyguard was just killed, Putty, and we're worried about reading a damn fax. I would have never even read the first fax. Like, who checking the damn fax machine after the bodyguard is murdered and we know the killer is here? That whole scene, honestly, was so idiotic and the epitome of contrived. How could Ghostface possibly know that, one, they would even care to check the fax machine, that for two, that they would use a lighter in particular, not use the light of the cell phone, or not just take the damn paper back outside to read? I can enjoy that scene, like I do enjoy it, but it's just too dumb to even exist. I really enjoy the movie within a movie thing. I enjoy the backstory that we get with Maureen Prescott here. Maureen is an interesting character. The way she is in, the way they have her used in the Scream universe. We get all this info on Maureen Prescott. The events of Scream all started because of Maureen, but she is a character that the audience never actually gets to see, right? Besides, like dead Maureen, when Sid is seeing dead Maureen. Maureen's dead a year prior to the events of Scream, but Maureen is vital. She is the common just thread of why all this even happened to Sydney in the first place. I also have no problem with them going back to kind of alter or change things regarding Stu and Billy's motives, Billy in particular. Was it necessary? No, not really. But does it hurt Scream or Billy or any of how that went down? No, not for me. Another thing that I love about Scream 3 is, for me, it was the best whodunit. I'm not sure everyone else's first experience with this movie, but I was actually just truly shocked when the reveal of Ghostface happened. First of all, I did not guess Roman. like in the slightest, wasn't even on my radar. And I most definitely did not guess that he was the child Maureen gave up as Sid's brother. Now, Scream 3 came out when I was about 14, so that's like 100 years ago. It's hard for me to like remember exact, but I want to say at that point, I only knew Scott Foley from that show Felicity, which I was so goddamn obsessed with. And Scott Foley was just this, you know, nice guy, good guy. That's typically how I saw him in roles. So I felt like he was a great pick for Ghostface. This was also the only time there wasn't two killers, which also threw my guessing off because I spent the whole movie trying to figure out who the two killers were. Y'all, if there is one thing you know about me, if you're familiar with my channel, it is the standard to which I hold the third act in movies, that climactic third act, specifically a third act final showdown. And I freaking love, you hear me? Love the final showdown in Scream 3, minus Gail and Dewey in the background running around like bumbling idiots. But Sydney versus Roman, child, talk about sibling rivalry. I really love everything about this final showdown. Do you know why you kill people, Roman? Shut up! Don't want to hear it because you choose to. Why don't you take some responsibility? Like, y'all, I just love this whole, literally, just that entire showdown. I freaking love it. I also love the lose something, found something. I love everything, but I love Sydney pulling the whole disappearing act after you think the killer is dead thing. It's your turn to scream, asshole. Love it. This might be an unpopular opinion, but the Sidney Prescott character peaks in Scream 3 for me and doesn't get better than this. Now, while Scream 3 might not be on the level of Scream and Scream 2, but for me, when it comes to franchises, I don't really compare. I kind of take each standalone and I look at the quality of the overall franchise. So it may not be on that level, but Scream 3 is still really effective and fun and entertaining and thrilling and a worthy slasher. Scream was iconic and groundbreaking, and Scream 2, you know, broke the whole sequel thing. Scream 3 comes in not groundbreaking, but definitely an above average slasher. There is a momentum that the trilogy, you know, built. And I feel like Scream 3 was a great payoff, a solid end to the trilogy. Again, this might be unpopular opinion, but I would have been happy if the Scream universe ended here. If you are one of those people who never liked Scream 3, hopefully I was able to give you a new appreciation for the film. I highly suggest revisiting it. But if you are one of the few, like me, who love this movie, well, know that you are not alone. Thank you so much for watching the videos, sharing the videos, liking, for being subscribed. Thank you for just all around supporting the channel. I recently hit 100,000 views and I just really cannot even believe it. Thank you so much. Make sure you have your post notifications on for the rest of my Scream series. If you haven't, make sure you check out my Scream series playlist where I review Scream and Scream 2. And still to come, my review of Scream 4, 5, and 6, as well as ranking the Scream franchise. And I will also be ranking the Ghostface killers. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.